You are 40 years old. You turn the key in the ignition. The starter hesitates for a split second before the engine catches. A small, cold shiver runs up your spine. Not from the winter air, from the realization of where you are. You bought this car when you were 30. You were married for 2 years. You had a 5-year plan. You thought this vehicle was temporary, not a permanent home, a stepping stone. Now the calendar says 2026. You are 40, and you are still turning the exact same key. You drive down your street in the gray morning light. The odometer reads 142,000 miles. The steering wheel leather is smooth and greasy from a decade of your own sweat. You know every tear in the fabric. You know every stain on the carpet. Into the traffic, into the cold, into another morning of a life you thought would look different by now. At 20, an old car is a badge of honor. It means you were scraping by. It means you're hungry. At 40, an old car feels like an indictment. It tells the world exactly where you stalled out on the corporate ladder. The first rule, at 40, a car is no longer transportation. It is a clock ticking down your remaining prime years.
Your daughter doesn't want you to park in front of the school gates. She doesn't say it out loud. She doesn't have to. She just asks you to pull over by the bus stop, 50 yards away from the other parents. You look at her backpack. You look at her quiet face. You pull over. You drop her off. The belt under your hood is squeaking again. A wet, rhythmic chirp that bounces off the brick walls of the school. You turn up the heater to drown it out. The heater smells like dust and old antifreeze. The other parents are driving cars with digital screens the size of televisions. Cars that park themselves. Cars that smell like luxury leather and expensive choices. You swipe your card at the gas station down the road. You put in $30. Not a full tank. A temporary truce. The regret here isn't about your own comfort. It's provider guilt. It's the creeping fear that your financial choices are casting a shadow over your children's pride. You were 43, and you were learning how to become invisible in your own neighborhood. The second rule, at 43, the distance between you and your peers is measured in the noise your engine makes when it idles.
The new regional vice president is 28 years old. He wears wireless earbuds during meetings. He talks about synergy. He talks about aggressive optimization. He parks his German sports coupe right next to your spot on level 3 of the garage. You step out of your car. Your door hitches with a loud, metallic pop. A worn hinge strap. The kid looks at you. He smiles a polite, empty corporate smile. Not respect. Condescension. You walk to the elevator together in silence. You look at his shoes. He looks at his phone. You realize that to him, your car is a data point. It tells him that you are safe. It tells him you have a mortgage, a 10-year-old sedan, and zero leverage. You won't quit. You won't push back on the new metrics. You can't. Your car is the physical proof that you cannot afford a 6-month gap in employment. You have spent 5 years telling yourself you are being frugal. The corporation looks at your car and realizes you are a hostage. The third rule. At 45, an old car doesn't show financial wisdom to your boss. It shows vulnerability.
The transmission slips on a Thursday afternoon. Just a slight hesitation between second and third gear. A momentary loss of power that makes your heart hit the back of your throat. You take it to the shop. The mechanic is a guy you've known for 5 years. He doesn't look you in the eye. He gives you the number, $1,800. You sit on the plastic chair in the waiting room. The coffee machine in the corner is broken. You look at your phone. Your son needs braces next month. The down payment is $1,200. The math is a vice grip. If you fix the car, the braces wait. If you get the braces, You drive a machine that might die on the highway at 60 miles an hour with your family inside. You don't buy clothes anymore. You haven't bought a new jacket since 2022. You eat the same lunch every day. You have optimized your personal life down to the bone, but the machine is still demanding blood. You sign the paper. You tell him to fix it. You don't feel relieved. You just feel smaller. The fourth rule. At 46, you aren't paying to maintain a car. You are paying a ransom to keep your life from falling apart.
He stopped washing it. The clear coat on the roof is completely dead now. It looks like dried skin. There is a rust bubble the size of a coin forming on the rear wheel well. Your wife suggests taking her car to the family dinner on Sunday. You agree immediately. You pretend it's because her car has better mileage. It's not. You are 47, and you have developed a specific kind of mental exhaustion. You have stopped believing that a new car is in your future. The ambition that drove your 30s, the hunger for the upgrade, the desire to walk into a dealership and point at something clean, has turned into ash. The car has broken your standards. You look at the peeling chrome logo on the steering wheel. You pick at it with your thumb until your nail bleeds. You realize that you have spent 7 years adapting to things that don't work. The air conditioner that only blows cold on the highway. The passenger window that sticks. You aren't managing an asset. You are accepting a lower version of yourself. The fifth rule. At 47, the decay of your car is a slow translation of the decay of your expectations.
The headlights are yellow. The plastic lenses have oxidized, turning a cloudy, sickly amber. You bought a restoration kit from the auto parts store. You spent 2 hours scrubbing them on a Saturday. It didn't work. The bulb light can't punch through the fog. You are driving home on the interstate at night. The rain is a solid wall. A modern SUV passes you. Its white LED lights illuminate the entire highway, making your world look completely dark by comparison. For 3 seconds, you are completely blind in their wake. Your hands grip the wheel at 10 and 2. Your knuckles are white. Your neck muscles are stiff. You think about the safety features you don't have. No lane assist. No automatic braking. No side curtain airbags designed for modern impact standards. You are driving a metal tin from a previous decade through a world that has grown faster, heavier, and more dangerous. The panic isn't financial anymore. It's existential. You are 48, and you are realizing that you are risking your physical safety to save $400 a month on a car payment. The sixth rule. At 48, frugality ceases to be a virtue. It becomes a hazard.
It is your 25th high school reunion. You told yourself you wouldn't go. And then you told yourself you didn't care. You pull up to the valet stand at the hotel. Your car is the only vehicle with a visible key entry on the door. Every other car uses proximity sensors. Every other car is silent. Yours idles with a heavy, old-fashioned thrum. The valet takes your key. He handles it like something dirty. You walk inside. You see the guys you grew up with. They talk about their real estate portfolios. They talk about their boats. They talk about their early retirement plans. When they ask what you've been up to, you talk about your kids. You talk about your job stability. You don't mention the car. The language doesn't translate anymore. At 49, driving a 10-year-old car isn't a quirky choice. It's a dividing line. It places you in a different category of human being to the people you spent your youth with. You stand in the crowded room, surrounded by old friends, feeling an immense, freezing distance. You aren't angry at their success. You were lonely in your longevity. The seventh rule: the longer you hold on to the past, the smaller the room becomes when you try to talk about the present. 10 years. You look at the digital odometer. 210,000 miles. You have spent 3,600 days inside this specific seat. You look in the rearview mirror. The man looking back at you has deep gray at his temples. The skin around his eyes is heavy. You were 40 when this decade started. You are 50 tonight. You open the glove box. You pull out the original purchase paperwork from 2016. The paper is yellowed at the edges. The signature at the bottom belongs to a young, confident man who thought he was just passing through. You didn't buy a house with the money you saved. You didn't invest it in a fund that made you rich. You spent it on groceries. You spent it on electricity. You spent it on surviving the middle-aged overhead of a normal life. The car didn't save you. It just witnessed your transition from promising to permanent. You open the door. The hinge pops. One last time. Somewhere right now, a 40-year-old man is sitting in his driveway on a freezing morning. He is turning an old key. He is listening to a slight hesitation in the starter. He thinks he's being smart. He thinks he'll get a new vehicle when the economy settles down next year. He thinks he's just driving an old car. He doesn't know yet that the car isn't what's being used up. The miles aren't hitting the engine. They are hitting his joints. The rust isn't eating the frame. It's eating his options. The engine fires up. The dashboard glows amber. The car doesn't care who is driving. It takes whoever shows up.